haven't turned your microphones on yet, so just when the meeting starts, remember to turn your microphone on, please. Oh, crud. Where did my city plus go? Guys, I'm getting ready to turn it on, and yeah, last time, at our, not your meeting, but another meeting, James had to edit the beginning of the meeting, so if everyone could stop talking just for a minute. Thank you.
That's a horse with a different color. I'll make a note of that.
Mine says 6 o'clock. My computer says 6 p.m. So, but I'm.
Not a problem. I think there's a little game happening tonight.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get on the floor, or some do.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call it to order, please. So do you have the roll call here? Elle, are you good?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I hope everyone had a chance to see the meeting minutes from last time. Do we have any changes, additions, et cetera? Do I have a motion to accept it? And a second. Did you see that, Elle?
So, Mary, Melody, and who seconded? Mary Beth? Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
terrific. Okay, everybody in favor? Raise your hands. Excellent. All right, new business. We have a mural proposal for the movie studio grill on North Point Parkway.
Hi, good evening.
I'm sorry, I don't miss.
Could you introduce yourself to us, please?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Mark Robinson, and I'm the National Facilities Director for Studio Movie Grill. And we're proud to be building a studio in your market, especially post-COVID.
Trying to figure out how to do it, but it's not working. They can see him now, but I don't know how to get the, hold on.
Power blue or red?
It should be blue. Is it blue?
I just tried the.
No, it's okay. I think something's coming up.
Yours up is up there now. So you should be able to. Why is it not showing? Is the light on? Is everything?
The power button's flashing, so.
There it goes. Sorry. Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly how this is supposed to go, but what I would like to start with is I was nice enough to be able to meet with these folks a couple of weeks ago, and we presented some options for a mural for the building. And the one that seemed to go over the best is the one that you see up on the screen now, which also happens to be a local Atlanta artist. So we felt good about that as well. The other artist although his rendering is very good, he's Texas-based, and we, we wanted to keep it as close to home as we could. What you see in front of you is a color rendering. At the first meeting, this artist had only presented a black and white edition. We asked him to provide a color rendering. This one is called Heavy Orange. And I don't really know if on the screen you're going to be able to tell much of a difference, but the second one is called Heavy Pink. So the colors are subtly different, but you can see some differences there. And then you can also see what that would look like from an elevation standpoint on the rear corner of the building. My understanding is that backs up to a greenway, and the thought would be that, from this greenway, you would be able to see this. Hopefully it would attract people to come sit at outdoor tables, have a beverage, eat lunch, et cetera, and maybe even go to the show. We feel good about what we've presented, and I think the first meeting went well too. And I think we're just looking for final approval, hopefully, and next steps.
Okay, well, we have just a couple questions, Mark, if you don't mind. So is this going to be exclusively this design and everything for this building in Alpharetta? You're not planning on putting it on other buildings elsewhere?
That is correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, excellent. Does anybody else have any questions for it?
It would be the only theater we have that has a mural.
Okay, terrific. All right.
So the artist is George Baker, or did you say you changed the artist?
No, ma'am, it is George Baker, and he is Atlanta-based.
Okay,
Terrific.
so that is the final artist you're using, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think it's somewhere in the application there was a different paint.
Right, we submitted a couple of different proposals, and this was the one that seemed to go over best. We like it too. We feel like it's got a lot of energy, and it's very reflective of going to the theater and having fun and so forth, so we liked it as well.
Terrific. And any other questions for Mark before we decide among us?
Yeah, I have a question. So it says heavy orange and heavy pink. Did you decide already on one or the other?
We have not. We wanted to present it. He submitted both, and we wanted to submit both to you, and we have no preference.
Just one other question. Is there going to be a light? I mean, is there light from above or below that lights it up at night or anything? Just curious.
There is nothing planned currently.
Okay. Okay.
So this part of the building actually faces Mansell, correct? I mean, I drove over by that, so it faces Mansell, where this is. So I was thinking, you really aren't going to be able to see it from the Greenway, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We have not met. Morgan Rogers.
Very nice to meet you,
Director
sir.
of Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Services. So the way things are right now, you cannot see it from the Greenway. But what we have planned is that when the movie studio grill comes in, they're also going to give us an entryway from the parking lot to the Greenway. And it is our plan to not, once they do that with the entryway, is to clear out some of that underbrush from the connection to the Greenway, so that when you're going down or coming up, you will be able to see the parking lot. And because currently there is not a connection from the parking lot to the Greenway. You have to go out to Mansell, go around the little corner, and then come back. So part of their design is they're going to build us a connection, which we're excited about. And they're also inviting the folks to use the parking lot to go to the Greenway as well, which was different from where we had before, is that we couldn't use the parking lot. So we're really excited about this, but you're right. Currently, you can't, but you will be able to, hopefully in the near future.
I remember when I used to have to jump the bushes to the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so
Greenway a lot.
yeah, so.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Very helpful.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I think it looks great, but I would say I like the heavy pink just because it evokes being in a dark theater a little bit.
Interesting. So I guess what we need is a motion then, so that we can discuss it among ourselves. So does somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, what's your motion, Michael?
The motion to discuss.
Motion to accept is usually, or not accept. Motion to accept. Do we have a
Accept
second?
what? To accept
Accept,
Pink, heavy pink,
the heavy pink?
heavy pink.
do we have to decide on the color?
Well, you really don't, probably you should just go ahead and just discuss it without making a motion, because
I got you. Okay, thank you. All right. Sorry about that. Still learning here. Yeah, I agree with you. It does make it look like it's dark. The question, though, that's why I asked if it had light on it, because I thought the yellow might pop more, especially in the evening hours, without any light on it. But I totally get it. I didn't think about it being like you're in the movie theater. That makes sense.
So just to be clear, there is light on the side of the building.
Okay.
But we stopped so as to not locate a light right in the middle of this mural. So there's light up to the mural, and then it stops as it goes down to the corner of the building.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for that.
And we're also putting in LED parking lot lights. So that will brighten that area up quite a bit as well.
Terrific.
There,
Sure.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, sure. Well, that helps. All right. So, any other discussion? All right, Michael, you want to try your motion again?
I'll try my motion again. Motion to accept.
With the darker pink, pink. All right, do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? No, just,
Timing.
Well, that's great, because that was the one question I had, is from here.
excuse me, there's really not supposed to be discussion when after a motion has been made, and you made the motion, you seconded, so you're really supposed to vote now.
I mean, that's a question we can answer after we have our vote.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct, okay. Unless you feel like you need to know that beforehand? No, okay, super. All right, so, no questions? No comments? All right, everybody in favor of it, I guess, raise your hand. Okay. It unanimously passed. Thank you.
So the question I had is similar to yours. We don't know what the next step is now that it's passed. Do we need to get a permit to paint it, or are we approved by the city to paint it? Obviously we'll need scaffolding and a cherry picker and those kind of things, and we just didn't want to proceed without the proper approval.
We'll send notes from the
Right. To Brett Schrader in Community Development, and I think you'll have to get a permit. You'll have to do the work. I'm not exactly sure what the process.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure also.
We
were-
have also, I can send you a action summary, and I'll CC him on that too, and then we can find out, we can let you know tomorrow what the next.
Right. And then, sir, to answer your question, the timing is at this point going to be weather related. Temperature, rainy days, that kind of thing. We discussed that at the first meeting. Where do we go if we're in the 40s? Because we can't really be painting at that point. So, just to beg for a little leadway to work around those kind of weather issues. But for us, we want to get it done as quickly as possible. We would love for it to be done, prior to opening. And, we know we're up against it a little bit, being at the end of October. We're looking at the second week of December. But it's all predicated on the seats, which are coming from Columbia. And they're on the water. In normal times, I would say no problem, we're good, but they could sit in port for 2 to 4 weeks, and if it's 2 weeks, we're fine, and if it's 4 weeks, we're not. Everything's been a bit of a challenge.
Okay, thank you, Mark, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Morgan?
So I just wanted to say on behalf of the city how excited we are with that movie studio grill was able to weather the pandemic and open its doors. And we can't be more excited because the city has a vision of the North Point Parkway, what's that called?
The place.
The corridor. Got big plans for it, and I think this is really going to be the first step toward that. Because if anything, that end needs some help down toward Mansell to get everything reinvigorated, and we're really excited about that. We're excited about the connection of the Greenway. That's going to be a major step for that. So we're really excited about that, and we really appreciate the folks, and I think this is the first step toward a long and trusting relationship. We're really excited about it.
Thank you, Morgan. Super. Morgan, there was a question from Sabine.
Is there a date for the Greenway connection work?
No, we're still working on some permits and those kind of things for that. But it should be, I would think in the spring, we'll be ready to go in the spring.
Ride my bike to the movie theater.
Awesome.
Do you want to go next?
Matthew's not. So Matthew's not here, so we'll wait for his update on the Aria mural for when he returns, our next meeting. So good evening, how are you? You good?
Kim, it's a little hard to hear you. Could you?
You can't hear me, is this, it seems like it's a short one. It seems like it's usually,
You got to point it toward you, or I can give you a handheld one.
is that, no, that's okay. Is that better? I'll just lean over. It's from being tall, I guess. Well, I'll give you some updating, some cultural happenings. October's just been a very busy event month, so that's what you're going to hear about, a lot of reports. We've got one more weekend left, and we had the Slice of Life exhibit, and our gallery coordinator, Nancy Murphy, is in the audience, so I'll give accolades to her. I'm just going to take this moment because you don't get to be here as much. This lady works really, really hard on our galleries, and that's over COVID, sitting around, we got this idea to add these galleries on, and I came to her and she said, okay, and she just took off, and she's doing the community gallery, the studio gallery, Alpharetta Art Center gallery, took on Little Lion gallery, Little Lionheart gallery. Yep. So I just really want, if you guys see her, she's a busy, busy person, but they had a reception this past weekend, and it went very well. I was out of town, but did you, how many? 140 people. So they're wonderful. They're usually 2 hours. Was this 2 hours, 6 to 8? And so, if you can ever make it out to one, it's wonderful. They have food, free food, so that's good. The New Georgia Black Women Speak project with Horizon Theater will be happening this weekend. And they're going to have a audio version where it's not actually a play this weekend, but they're still collecting info, and they're going to create the play early next year. So it's more of they're gathering info and having discussion. So we'd love for you to show up if you can. In arts, we have the Milton High School had their art show at the City Hall Community Gallery exhibit, and that went very well. I don't know how many they had in attendance. That was about 60? Okay. Family Day at the Arts Center was wonderful. We had about 300 out for the day. And so that'll be an annual event that we'll do, and it was wonderful. We had painting. We had the wheels out in the front terrace, so people were doing pottery out that way. Toby Smallwood, if you know him, he's one of our supervisors, and I hadn't seen him creating that much art in a while, so he was really enjoying himself. Promise of Tomorrows by the Metropolitan Ballet was wonderful, along with the Alpharetta Symphony Orchestra. They performed on the front terrace. So we've had so many wonderful, wonderful things and opportunities going on. I did not put this straight on the agenda because I didn't know we'd be ready, but I just printed this out for you. We don't have official copies from the printer, but we just finished our winter guide. So I want to hand this out. Please come and take classes. You know that you can take a free class. So just in case we're not aware. Thank you. You're welcome. So that was hot. This is hot off the press today. Lauren Miller is our program coordinator, and she works along with Megan Belela, and they've done a wonderful job, and we're doing a lot of outreach to try to bring in some new instructors. So if you know of instructors or anything like that, please send them to us. We would love to add them to the program. Public art, we have a public art guidelines committee, as you know. A few of you serve on that, and it's going very well. We're trying to get the first ordinance done, not the application portion, but just kind of the ordinance, and we're working on that. A sculpture update. I was lucky enough to, oh, I thought he was here. Okay. The city attorney, I thought he was here. He is working on that and getting updated with me. Still on hold, but just know that that is a priority. So we know it looks.
I have a question about that, Kim, because I do get asked about it. So what should we say?
Well, just say we're trying to work on the ownership of the placement of the sculpture and working with the artist on getting it recreated. So the new outdoor exhibit partnership that Arts Alpharetta, actually we contract with them if you're not aware, and they actually curate and do our outdoor temporary on loan sculptures around town. We're starting a new series, and they're starting conversations probably December, and we're trying to launch the new program for next year. So some of the sculptures you see will be rotating out. Music, Shakespeare in the Park. Would you like to talk about that? Give us a little update.
Just, it was our best attended Shakespeare in the Park ever. Over 4 days, we saw probably around 300 attendees.
So awesome.
So we were very excited, and large cast, so.
Thank you. And we still need to do our post meetings. I know we need to get that scheduled too. So, Busking Guidelines Committee update. We actually walked around and looked at locations. And we scouted out kind of like our top, I think we have 10, kind of went to about 15, we think about 10 solid locations. And it was really good to put our eyes on the location, and Michael was there, Matthew was there, and Matthew gave a good perspective of being a downtown business owner, so that was very helpful, just, positioning and the knowledge he has from that. So we're trying to get an ordinance done just like the public art guidelines. We're trying to get the ordinance finished. Goal is by end of the year, we've got the ordinances kind of where we like them and start pushing that through to see what we can have approved within our processes. So, Music Match, live shows through December. These are the remaining shows for the year. You see a to be determined. That means that the producer is finding an artist. That is usually done in about a 2-week cycle. So it might seem kind of a quick turnaround, but that means that they just haven't found the musician yet for that date. But the dates are confirmed and the times and locations are confirmed. So if you can, please come out. We'll be finishing the program for the year. And I believe Fulton County is going to be releasing the grant for next year pretty soon. So then we just got notification for that last Friday, and I think they're going to release it over the holidays. In history, we had the log cabin grand opening. It was a little bit of a stormy day, but we still had a good turnout, and it was wonderful to finally, after almost 2 years, to get to acknowledge all the people that worked very hard on getting the cabin moved. So that was a good day. We had our Black History and Celebration discussions. We had our second group discussion, and we created a list of events, potential events and ideas, and a list of history preservation projects. If you were able to attend or listen to the council meeting last night, the Bailey Johnson School and the developer, they had some really great discussion about that. So if you can, go online and listen. And it's really interesting. I love that history that we have here. And so we kind of want to tell that story to the community if we can, beginning next year. Marketing, if you haven't been there, please look at the new Cultural Services website. I know I kind of sent that out to everybody, but if you haven't had a chance to click on it, please float around. Our calendar is going to stay very active there, and our Instagram page, our feed, also on our Facebook feed. We did student surveys, and that was really productive. Right now, our new program coordinator is doing student surveys, Lauren, and she's done a great job on collecting info, and we're trying to drive our programs around that feedback. Mid-year budget requests are due. on November 8th. Got that email, so that's coming up. And Monday, if you can, I don't know how many of you know Ben Hollingsworth, but we're having a proclamation for him Monday night. And Nancy's been instrumental in helping drive that. And I think who was it that actually kind of sparked this idea? A community member reached out to us. And it reached out to Nancy, and then we all said, we need to do this for him. So if you don't know him, please get to know him. And if you can attend Monday, it would really be great to support him. But that's all I've got. You have any questions or?
Any questions for Kim? Thank you, Kim. That was awesome. Okay, I got it. Do you have something? Okay, great.
I had one question. Well, first of all, a comment. Wow. Busy October. Fantastic. Thank you. Is there any plan in the future to highlight some other history or cultural months? I'm thinking Diwali. There's a lot of my neighbors that are celebrating. So is there any plan to reach out to the diversity in the community that we have to celebrate other holidays or anything? Any ideas on that?
I hope that when we all start working on the Cultural Arts Master Plan next year, that we're going to incorporate discussion and group community input, and we'll schedule those throughout the beginning of the year. But if anyone knows of or hears of any groups out there that is looking for a place for an event, like we tried to implement a Diwali event, and we met with them out at Union Hill Park. And we looked at the site. We just couldn't quite find the location that would work for all of their needs this year, but we're opening up conversations for next year. And we invited them to have actually some cultural performances at the Arts Center too. So if you know of any way that we can get in contact, or if you know someone, please send them my way and we'll make that happen, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Morgan.
I really try not to say anything. I really try to sit there and not say anything. But I want to take y'all back 4 short years ago, okay? Go back 4 years today. The only art program in the city of that the city of Alpharetta was doing was some art classes at Crabapple Government Center. So if you reflect on that for just a minute, in 4 short years, to go from that to what we're doing now, just in the cultural side of the house, don't even talk about anything. It's just amazing how far we've come with the public art, with the music, with the drama, with the art classes, with everything that we're doing. It's been an amazing 4 years, and most of that goes to responsibility goes to Kim, and Kim just taking the torch and running with it, and everybody bringing everybody to the table. So it's been an exciting 4 years. I can't believe I sit here and listen to the things that are going, and I'm just amazed of the things we're doing. So, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't thank Kim and her team personally for bringing us out of the, if you will, out of the dark ages, into the light. Because we certainly are doing a lot of things. Got a lot of things still left to do. Lots of things left to do. But if you look at our track record, it tells you that we're very serious about our fun. When it comes to the cultural side of the house, and we're gonna do great things. Can't wait for the next 4 years.
I know you tell me too, Morgan, that cities contact you, other cities contact you and say, how can we do
Right.
what you've done?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We have, every couple of weeks we'll get somebody. I'll get a director from a town within 50 miles of us and say, I understand y'all are doing a lot of things in the art. How'd y'all do it? And I say, well, you hire the right person and get out of the way. But there's more to it than that, of course. But we're the envy of a lot of places, and so we appreciate. And this board is going to have a lot to say about what the shape of art looks like in the next 4 years, and we're excited about that. We're excited about that journey, and I think it'll be a good place. So. Again, I'll try to sit down and not say anything after that. But
Thank you, Morgan. I'm really glad you did, because I've been involved since 2001, and it has really, truly, in the last couple of years, just really flown. So thank you, Kim, and thank you too, Morgan, for your support. Awesome. All right, we have a report from Nancy Murphy, who's part of our series of talking about different arts organizations in Alpharetta.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Nancy Murphy, and I'm the president of Arts Alpharetta, and we are a nonprofit organization. You've got a lovely card that tells you all about us in front of you. We're the nonprofit that supports the arts in Alpharetta, and it's our goal, our mission, to advance Alpharetta as a cultural arts community. We focus on 3 major areas to do our work: creating artist opportunities. We focus on promoting cultural organizations or arts leader groups in our area, and we focus on curating public art. So to kind of summarize what each of these jobs are, when I talk about creating opportunities for artists, we'll do things like host an open call. For example, I got a call from City Center, the folks, the management company that runs that. They're looking for artists to paint holiday window decor in certain tenants' spaces. I get a call from Avalon. They have a storefront that's going to be empty in a very key, very publicly visible component in this holiday season, and they don't want that empty storefront to be what everybody looks at. They need an artist for that. North Fulton Community Charities called us a couple of years ago. They needed a mural for an empty container that's part of their storage space at the back of the building. Bagel Boys asked us to find a muralist for their wall in their restaurant. We have the parent of one of that muralist right here. So those are some of the things that we do. We sponsor a corner gallery in Urban Hardware where we invite artists locally to display work, and it's sold at Urban Hardware. We do things like assist the gallery coordinator in proposing the calendar exhibits for the Arts Center. That means picking the theme, the subject matter, the medium. It's curating all those entries. It's providing the volunteer base that helps install all those pieces. This is a huge savings for the staff. I know that it's a pretty demanding job, but we have a great volunteer base, and they show up every time. We present our calendar drafts to the city, and we recruit guest jurors for that show. So each time we have a new show, there's a bank of people that will help evaluate and decide which pieces go in, but oftentimes we'll have somebody from the outside with a specific expertise, so we do that. We apply for grants, and we get them. Not a lot, but a few. We applied to Fulton County for their arts and culture program, and we've gotten a grant for 2 years in a row to support A Song Can Change a Life, which is a podcast that's hosted at the Alpharetta Arts Center. The first one happened during COVID when we couldn't do anything, and we quickly converted what was a face-to-face live event to an electronic or virtual event where we could engage the community from a safe location during 2020. We had over 30,000 viewers on that, and we reached not only people in Georgia, but I forget how many states, but many states across the nation and 9 countries. Again, outreach that we could not have done without that platform. We sponsor takeout art. Again, during COVID, when everything was shut down, the Art Center historically has offered free classes once a month for preschool children with their parents to come in to do activities. That couldn't happen anymore. Arts Alpharetta stepped up and said, we need to provide something for kids to do. If you had young children during that time, you were clamoring for activities for your kids or grandkids when everybody couldn't go anywhere. So we put together free art kits. We put out a call through social media. They were sold out in a couple of hours. It was free, but you had to reserve your spot. They were gone. We did it twice, very successful. We also realized very quickly that we were reaching all of the kids in our community. These were the kids whose parents were on social media and had the wherewithal and the time to get to us to pick them up. So we kind of modified our program and started to focus on kids who are in need in our community, our underserved children. And there are kids up here who need our help and need our support. So through reaching out to school counselors, we ask every elementary school that sits inside the city limits of Alpharetta, which is 6, how many kits do you need? We'll provide them. They gave us the number, we met it, we delivered them to schools at Christmas and at the end of the year. When we showed up with that first set of boxes, the counselors cried because their numbers of children in need were greater than they had seen in quite some time. This was during 2020, and we're still doing it today. Art supplies are the #1 request of children in transient housing or in either social emotional crisis or in economic crisis. Their parents are taking care of food and housing and all the other stuff, but they need a chance to be creative and expressive. Many of these children had to have transportable tools. So we have a great team member who designs these kits from soup to nuts. She basically decides what the activities are. They get a box full of everything they need, from the newspaper to protect the table, to the markers and the brushes and the paper, the glue, the scissors, everything. And she does it at an incredible bargain. I don't know how she does it. But they come dressed up like packages that any child would value. They look like the best gift ever. And when we don't get to see the children receive those, again, this is information that the school counselors take care of for us, but the counselors give us a report back, and it's a huge hit. We got a beautiful thank you letter from Alpharetta Elementary, one of the schools that receives, and it does make a big difference in these children's lives, and we're happy to do that, and we continue to do that. Let's see, what else do we do? Paint the town. I don't know if you were around in May of last year, but about 60 artists descended upon our city to start painting outside on plein air. And they created beautiful paintings. We sold over 71 artworks. We sold a gross amount of about $15,000 worth of artwork. And we just had a great time seeing how artists see our beautiful community. And it was a lot of fun. Very well received by the artist and very well received by the community. Morgan brought somebody into the art center during that who had just moved to this area, and she said, her quote was something to the effect of, "This is why I love the town I moved into. They value the arts, they support the arts, and look at what we get to see." So that was a great event. So for promoting cultural organizations, on the back of your card, you will see groups that we partner with to help support a lot of different things through the arts in Alpharetta. And what we do for them is we try to share opportunities. When the Arts Center decided to staff or to host the Family Day, we immediately reached out to arts leader groups to see what they wanted to do to participate. Oftentimes we'll connect one group to another. For example, the ballet might have needed a photographer for a specific event, so we connect the photography group with them. So we try to do those. We try to look for opportunities where we can support each other and help advance the arts in Alpharetta together. We cross-promote for each other. If the symphony tells us, or Act One tells us that that they're having an event, we're constantly reposting those things on all of our social media platforms so that our outreach is even greater. So we continue to do that work. And periodically we'll advise art leader groups in developing partnerships, either with each other, with the city, or with other organizations. And for curating public art, this is a big one. When Arts Alpharetta was established in 2015, we think, sometime back in those days, and Diana was a part of that, its focus was to be a partner with the city in establishing public art. And so what we have been given the charge to do is to curate that. It's researching agencies that will often host sculptures that are suitable for public art, interviewing them, taking a look. I mean, it's going through catalogs and catalogs of artist work, designing a call that will bring some sort of continuity to the collection of pieces. And then once those pieces are submitted, then we screen them and present what we'd like to recommend to the city. So curating the public art is a big responsibility. We've also been given the responsibility of kind of managing the contract once it's been established with each artist. So in other words, once we agree that we're going to take Nancy Murphy's sculpture to put into the city display for 2 years, then Arts Alpharetta is the one that makes sure that we submit the requisition for payment, that we take care of all those steps to make sure that we've kept up the conditions of that lease or that contract over the term of the lease. And let's see, I'm going to keep on going. It's a lot of communication. We have some major goals in our future. One is to continue to develop those partnerships with artists and other corporations and organizations to support the arts in Alpharetta. We would love to be a funding source. We're still reaching out and still learning those steps in fundraising and in grant writing to get there. But that's our hope, is that we can become a greater financial resource to support this city's efforts in doing some of these things. We're not totally there yet, but we're continuing to work on that. We hope to develop our relationships with our arts leader groups so that we can be more of a support agency. We can be a better partnership because we're better together than we are individually on our own. And then we continue to work with the City of Alpharetta and the Alpharetta Convention and Visitors Bureau to solicit for great arts experiences in our city. That's the big picture of what we do, and I'll be happy to take any questions that you have.
Where does the funding come from?
When Arts Alpharetta we get to collect the commission from sales of artwork that are in the gallery. So when all these exhibits that go up, we get a percentage of that, and what we do is pour that money right back into public art or takeout art or events or specifics around here. We've had a few grants. The city has given us a grant allowance we had to apply for that, and we had to get an opportunity we had to state what it was for. So we've been given some funding that way. And then there's straight up donations. Paint the Town was a fundraiser for us. We raised up a little over $6,000, or that's what we netted at the end of all that. So that's one. But we do get donations periodically.
So even the children's kits, that's all pretty much, I was looking at, pretty much donated.
Exclusively donated. When we started our fundraising for Paint the Town, that we made it very clear we're raising money for two things. One's public art and takeout art. And we had a lot of sponsors and contributors who specifically said, here's my check specifically for takeout art. So that's been the benefit there. And we continue to negotiate with our vendors to get, we have a really good partner and board member who's good at getting a little extra. And so oftentimes she'll find a vendor who will, give us a price break or something like that to help us do that. But she can make $10 go a long, long way.
Well, Nancy, I for one want to say thank you for trying to bring some coherence and cooperation to the arts community. I know when we did G's Bend, and all I did was just drop a little hint in Ben Hollingsworth, hey, it's about quilting. You guys should do a quilting exhibit. Guess what? Next thing I know, quilting exhibits going on. And that gives some meaning to all of our efforts if it looks like we're coordinating.
Well, thank you. That's the most fun is when all the puzzle pieces start to fit together and you see those opportunities for crossover.
Nancy, thank you so much. Great work.
Thank you.
Well, I don't see anyone in the public, so do we have any items from the commission members? No? All right. Well, then I guess the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.